Episode 87 of Briar's Bits, presented to you by Briar.io. My books, podcast, all sorts of good stuff over there on my website, articles. Go check it out. Full video always in the Patreon. This video is going to be over 20 minutes today. A lot of news to cover. Can't fit it all on Twitter, so let's get into it. Everybody in crypto knows the last couple of days were pretty bloody. Today, a little bounce back that started last night. Bitcoin ranging between 47.3 and 51.4, currently at 49,187, up 2.84%. Ethereum at $1,602, up 5.9%, 5.09% for the day. And Link at 2780, up 12.26%. Link bouncing back strong today. It's ranging from 24.67 to 29.27, almost busted $30 today, but kind of finding a happy spot here in the 27 club. To the overall crypto market cap, aggregate cap, $1.5 trillion still, despite a pretty massive pullback across the board, around 30%, 25, 30%. Most coins, took a hit over the last 72 hours. So pretty impressive that we've held 1.5 trillion. It did dip below, but it's kind of found its it has kind of found its footing here at 1.5 trillion. Bitcoin dominance an even 60%, and ETH an even 12%. So that's kind of interesting. Bitcoin dominance still down more than 14% from its high of this rally. To Michael Saylor's tweet from today, the Bitcoin bull. MicroStrategy has purchased an additional 19,452 Bitcoins for $1.026 billion in cash at an average price of $52,765 per Bitcoin. As of 2/24/21, we hodl 90,531 Bitcoins acquired for $2.171 billion at an average price of $23,985. Dollar cost averaging into this market. MicroStrategy really setting themselves up to be one of the most, powerful companies in the entire world. Really getting ahead of the game in Bitcoin. I know we're 12 years in now plus, but he's really paving the way. Along with Square, who picked up Square with their own edition here. We get into that. Square saw 1 million users buy Bitcoin for the first time during January's upswing, CFO says, from Steven Stankiewicz of CNBC, talking about this. And then it goes on to talk about how Square itself bought 50 million more worth of Bitcoin in October using existing cash on its balance sheet. On Tuesday, the Jack Dorsey-led firm announced it bought an additional 170 million worth of Bitcoin. Both Bitcoin purchases amount to about 5% of the company's cash holdings, Awaja told CNBC. Square's Bitcoin holdings, 8,027 coins in total, were worth around 400 million based on Wednesday's price. Dorsey, one of Bitcoin's best known proponents, once predicted it would eventually become the single currency of the internet. He also runs Twitter, of course. We feel that Bitcoin is aligned with our purpose, which is economic empowerment, Awaja said, explaining Square's investments. Economic empowerment is about bringing access to financial tools more broadly, including to people who haven't had it before. We think Bitcoin is a way that could enable that for the future. Crypto bulls have likened Bitcoin to digital gold, saying that because supply is capped at 21 million units, it can be a powerful store of value. There are around 18.64 million Bitcoins in circulation currently, according to CoinDesk. New Bitcoins come into the market as a reward for so-called miners who used high-powered computers to verify transactions across a decentralized network. So, as more and more people come into Bitcoin, we still have to explain how Bitcoin works to these people, which is a sign of our success already. As more and more people pile into cryptocurrency, the education doesn't stop. It's really just beginning as, we really become the mainstream, as this article noted. And Jack Dorsey has said, currency of the world. So we're about 2 hours and 48 minutes out of the daily close here. Bitcoin right under 49,000, 48,770. Huge ChainLink news today. Gigantic, monstrous. ChainLink promises 10x data with new off-chain reporting overhaul. ChainLink Labs developed a new network over the past year. This is from CoinDesk William Foxley. Off-chain data aggregation is coming to the ChainLink network with promises up to 10 times the speed over the current tech stack. ChainLink has unveiled its newest off-chain reporting OCR upgrade, the network's largest overhaul since it went live on Ethereum in 2019. A blog post shared with CoinDesk claims data was formerly aggregated on-chain, which increased overhead on node operators, not to mention data availability and inefficiencies given the rise of on-chain congestion, as we all know with Ethereum's gas fees. ChainLink co-founder Sergey Nazarov said in a phone interview with CoinDesk, OCR is the third and latest version of the CoinDesk core client run by ChainLink nodes, the blog post states. The most immediate benefit to DeFi and its users will be a 10x increase in the amount of real-world data that can be made available to smart contract applications. OCR was developed by ChainLink Labs academic cast headed by Cornell computer scientist Ari Jules, former IBM head of research Christian Cashin, and former BitGo CTO Ben Chan. The new update, which has already been deployed for the ETH USD and Link USD pricing feeds, aggregates data from disparate reporters on the ChainLink network. Each node signs off on its data source before committing the info on the on-chain contract, which is pushed to subscribing applications such as decentralized finance DeFi apps. The initial versions of the ChainLink did aggregation on-chain, and they did that on-chain because we knew we could rely on the consensus of the chain, Nazarov said. Yet, on-chain aggregation becomes more inefficient as consumer demand increases application data needs, he added. ChainLink states the update will also necessarily drop the data provider's gas usage per transaction on the Ethereum network. That's a boon for DeFi apps subscribing to ChainLink, given each call costs fractions of Ether called GUI. Gas fees are currently at historic highs with the average transaction surpassing $40 Tuesday. I can account for that. They are much higher. According to Blockchain, not only will the update lessen congestion on Ethereum, not only will the update lessen congestion on Ethereum, but it should decrease latency, Nazarov said. Really, what OCR does is take the computation we are doing on-chain and porting it out to an off-chain environment. And that is creating a very large 10x increase in efficiency, which means we can put a lot more data on-chain, Nazarov added. So huge story for the Link Marines, and perfect timing by ChainLink Labs. It's been working on this for a while. So big time news that they can hopefully this starts resolving some of the congestion across the Ethereum network, which has been really, I think the price has been impacted over the last few months with all of the new users and all of the new applications on the network. As this story noted, it really has slowed down the transaction throughput, which is why I don't understand, why they really didn't push harder to get Ethereum's, to Ethereum 2.0 out before this, this frenzy was, it was almost, everybody knew this was coming. It's in cryptocurrency, so it's like clockwork. This happens. So, but hopefully this is what we think it is. And special thanks to the crew, in Sergey we trust, as the Marines, like to say, or whatever. So everybody, let's keep our fingers crossed, because Ethereum's doing really cool stuff. It's just a shame that they're almost a victim of their own success. So I think one of the most common questions that I get, and I think a lot of us get, is how are you so sure that Bitcoin is going to continue to grow at the rate it has over the first 12 years and onward as it matures and becomes a teenager and so on. And I would just lead them to this website, usdebtclock.org. It shows the national debt, and also it breaks it down into all the various aspects here. The U.S. national debt approaching $28 trillion. Debt per citizen, $84,657. Debt per taxpayer, $223,441. That shows you the discrepancy there of people who are on the government dole, and then the few people that are actually paying taxes. And then you look at the U.S. GDP, or debt to GDP. In 1960, 53.2%, 1980, 34.52%, 2000, 59.03%, and now U.S. debt to GDP is 129.53%. So you mix all of these things in with 1.277 trillion in Medicaid, 1.1 trillion in Social Security, the wars over 700 billion, interest on the debt, which we can't even pay, 394 billion, 689 million, 550,000. It's not looking so hot for the U.S. And then you compare, and then you add in the fact that we've you gotta make sure you don't group yourself in with the state here. The fact that the Fed has added close to 35, and after this proposed stimulus package, almost 40% of all U.S. dollars will have been created in the last 12 months since the problem started last year around this time. It just gave them a reason to really just kick this into hyperdrive. So I was talking with a friend yesterday, and we were discussing, what's going to happen here. Is it's 58,000 the top for Bitcoin, or are we going to see, this normal 30% retrace in these bull markets and a continuation onward? And we were both kind of in agreement that there is no Alan Greenspan hike rate and interest hike rate coming. So in 2004, Alan Greenspan began a series of, just adding just a little bit, raising interest rates just slightly, and it had obviously a cataclysmic result, basically, which is actually what was needed, because people were spending money they don't have. Low interest rates encourages people not to save. It encourages consumption, and that's what the U.S. government really wants, is consumption. We've talked about this before. If you base your neighbors, I think I got this analogy from Peter Schiff, who is obviously not a Bitcoin bull, but if you base your neighbors success or whatever on how much they spend instead of how much they save. So if they go on a lot of vacations, they always have a brand new car, things like that, you might say, wow, they're really doing good, but what's their outlook in the long run? And that's really what the United States is doing right now. We're all about the now. We're not looking down the road. It's high time preference, not low time preference, like Bitcoin encourages with their finite supply. The people all have this sort of mentality that we're in this for the long run. And you can see that happening now, and the success of that mind state, or that state of mind, really culminating, across people that get it, people that understand what's happening, and our value is just being debased and stolen out of our bank accounts. So why would anybody hold, what encourages people to save money when you're losing 15 or 20% a year in perpetuity? There's no end in sight for the government to stop printing money. So it's a depressing thing if there's no Bitcoin, but luckily there is Bitcoin it is really that life raft or lifeboat that we all need to appreciate and educate ourselves on. And this isn't financial advice, but a lot of smart people have already figured this out, and more will, as and there's going to be this great transfer of wealth too, between the people that get it first, and we're still in the early adopter phase. In my opinion, it's coming to an end. It's basically coming to an end now. And then there will be the time when, you can see what they're doing is with all the government shutdowns and states and stuff, they're wiping out the middle class as we speak. So it's going to be the people on the government dole and the people that can, somehow store the fruit of their labor. And this is really the only place to put it, in my opinion, is Bitcoin. And then some of these other projects are going to be building the Web 3.0 and like ChainLink and being able to move this data across different, planes or proprietary chains. So it's interesting. And then I'm also interested in all these other projects like on a Federal Reserve that's going to be moving bank lending, B2B lending, they call it middle market DeFi, to, the blockchain, and just creating an efficient, landscape for the future of markets. So it's a no-brainer where this is heading. It's like people that are still using flip phones, or people that were reluctant to get into cell phones in the beginning, and we're still using rotary phones. It's like, you're on dial-up internet and everybody else is, has 5G. It's like you're going to be left behind. So you can see it's up 419% for the year, 18.638 million coins in circulation, roughly 4 to 6 million likely lost. So there's probably only 13-ish million out there somewhere in the ether, and 21 million finite supply. So, there might only ever be 15 to 17 million in circulation at once, tops, I would say. So this is a very scarce asset. That's why people want their hands on it. It's portable, it's divisible. The network is the most secure network, most robust network in the entire world. I mean, it's really, it's a no-brainer for me. So I think this is going to be, I don't think we've seen the top yet. I think we're going to see my $65,000 target from 2+ years ago. And we will also maybe see, eventually 6 figures in the next 12 months or next 9 months, as I think this could round out at the end, end of this year, end of 2021, early 2022. I'm not one of these people that are buying into this, hyper, long continuation phase. But who knows? I mean, as long as the Fed keeps printing, it could create a little bit longer cycle. But Bitcoin's been pretty pretty accurate on these bull bear markets, 2 or 3 years, and pretty accurate. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this episode. But I wanted to get into this a little bit because everybody's kind of, a lot of people are nervous. Some people made a lot of money, some people bought the top. This is why it's important to stick around or be around before the pandemonium begins. So you're not freaking out when you see these sort of 30% drawbacks. That's, I tell people in the Patreon, that my Patreon group, patreon.com/RL Breyer, that these sort of the opportunities are in the bear market, the best opportunities, so buying ChainLink under $2, buying Ethereum under 100, getting Bitcoin at 3,800 last March, $3,800 Bitcoin, and when the liquidity crisis hit in the stock market. I mean, look where we are now, up $45,000 from then, and that was like 345 days ago. So just do your homework and educate yourself as much as possible, and invest in your human capital, because nobody else is going to do it for you. That wraps up this Wednesday edition. Everybody have a good Wednesday evening, and let's hope this gets green again.